So much of what we do as kids, what we love to do as kids, especially with our parents, influences our later lives. Our next speaker used to tool around town with her mother in a purple conversion van, visiting piles of trash on the street, finding things that deserved another chance at life. The problems of waste and the health of our planet have been her focus ever since. She runs a refillery and sustainability business right here in South Knox, just 3 miles down the road, that addresses waste head on. And along the way to where she is now, she got a PhD in civil engineering. Her most recent methods of confronting trash are well thought out and put into action. She's the kind of person our parents would have loved to work with. Michaela Barnett.
I will also do this so that you all can hear. I do love talking trash, any opportunity that I get to. And my love for our planet has been a lifelong motivating force since I was scouring trash piles by the side of the road with my mom as a kid. And then in high school, I started multiple recycling programs, and I'm pretty sure my teachers during field days, they were like, Michaela, please stop sorting trash into recycling and trash. You can go play with the other youths. But I want to talk a little bit about the forces that we are up against when it comes to protecting this beautiful planet of ours and the natural spaces that make East Tennessee so very special. And I actually think that our biggest opponent is not just corporations who, unfettered, would take every bit of our natural resources and strain and drain them for a little bit of profit, nor is it just politicians who would let them through their failure of leadership, nor is it apathy. It is people's belief that they can't make a difference. It is people's misplaced belief that they have no power. I see this a lot in my creative problem solving that I am engaged in currently, where folks will say, I'm one person and I can't make a difference. I think there are quite a lot of interests that have invested quite heavily to make them believe the lie that they do not have power. When I did my dissertation research focused on waste management perceptions, one of the questions that I asked participants, I laid out an entire supply chain from resource extraction, product design, manufacturing, transportation, consumption, end of life, and I asked them 2 questions. The first question was, where in this cycle do you think efforts should focus to minimize environmental harm of these products? And the second question I asked was, where do you as an individual think you can focus to solve these problems? Now, a lot of my other research focused on the fact that our perceptions about what effective environmental actions are wrong, right? And I build on an entire body of research from one of my mentors and heroes, Dr. Shazeen Atari, who did similar research in water and energy, and she asked people, what are the most effective things that we can do? And almost everyone talks about individual behaviors that are focused on curtailment, not efficiency, right? So I can turn off the tap when I'm brushing my teeth instead of installing a low flow shower head. I can turn off the lights when I leave rather than transitioning to LEDs, right? A lot of lay people have misperceptions about what effective actions we can take versus the actions that we actually do take. So transferring this to waste management research, I really wanted to see Does everyone just think that recycling is the most effective action they can take rather than reduction and reuse, which we know we have to do upstream? And rather than systems change, where we know that we need corporations to take more responsibility for the packaging they're introducing into our lives? A lot of my research did show that, but this one question in particular really challenged some of my conceptions. Because over 80% of people correctly identified that to solve these problems, we have to go upstream. We need to focus on product design and resource extraction. But when you ask them what they can do about it, almost every single person says, the only way I can make a difference is where I choose to put a product in the waste stream, whether I choose to recycle it or throw it away or compost it or burn or bury it in my backyard. What my research showed me is that in a lot of cases, people do understand that we need systems change, but they don't feel like they have any power to change our system. Now, as someone that has been working in the climate and environment space for a really long time, I went through this journey myself, going from someone who just harangued my husband anytime he brought single-use plastics into my house, and who focused all my time on making my own bread and my own tofu and cooking my beans from scratch so that I could avoid single-use plastic packaging and waste, to starting a small business where folks can come and refill products ranging from teas, spices, coffees, shampoo, anything you get in a single-use container, you can now get it in bulk by the ounce. And instead of spending all my time and energy harassing my husband and making things from scratch, I put that energy into a small business that now serves over 8,000 people in East Tennessee, helping them reduce their reliance on this single-use plastic system. We the people have more power than we realize, which is why these corporate interests and politicians spend so much time and energy trying to convince us of exactly the opposite. And organizations like the one we're celebrating today are so important because they give us proof of concept that a small group of engaged citizens who refuse to believe the lie that they don't have power can change the world for the better. And in fact, it's the only thing that ever has. So thank you for inviting me to share space with you today. And let's continue being the use case that proves to everyone in our lives that we have power to change the world. We just have to take it and stop believing the lies that we can't make a difference.